I am Jennifer Evans with Empowering Wellness Counseling Solutions, and today we are talking about the science of human behavior. So psychology is a behavioral science, and what behavioral science is we're looking at why people, animals, things are doing the things that they're doing. And that's really what the question is why do people do, or why do animals do the things that they do? And what we find is we are all connected, and that every behavior is based on survival. Every behavior is based on survival. The motivation is clear that neurologically, the only thing that matters is survival. And so whether you are a beaver who builds dams and has those little teeth to help you chew and build these dams for you to have a place, a stronghold on the river, or you are an eagle soaring down and have this grand eyesight and these talons to be able to see small little guppies from 100 feet in the air, it's all in an effort to survive. And so just like our emotions and our behaviors are just as important and there for an effort to survive. And we've been talking about universal constructs this week, and those human constructs help us to find a sense of survival. I mean, one is literally security and safety. But having a sense of value is important when you think about prehistoric times. A sense of belonging, being seen or heard, being value or of a value are all connected to survival. Because in the earliest of days, what we know is that you needed a team, a group to survive. They didn't create villages yet, but we do know that humans kind of formed packs from the very beginning. And humans were afraid of other humans because they did not know if they were going to be friendly and in the same pack, or they were going to be an enemy and fighting for resources. And so from the very beginning, human interactions were necessary and terrifying and a threat all at the same time. And so because of this need to have more than one person to hunt, to gather, to build shelter, to protect, to make fire, to tend to new humans coming up, all of these things, one person couldn't do them. And so it was necessary to connect, to feel like you belong to other people. Because if you didn't belong, this is why bullying is so toxic and damaging. Why the suicide rates are so high for adolescents is because if you don't belong, ostracizational trauma, you are dead. You are dead. You do not belong. If you're not seen and heard, you are dead. If a saber tooth is coming to you and you're like, guys, come on, help me, you're gone. You're gone. Being seen and heard is crucial to survival. And of course, value. You will not belong if you don't have any value. If you keep smoldering a fire, if you can't, hunt to save your life, if you can't build a hut, if you can't understand what berries to gather and what not to, nobody's going to keep you in your pack. You're going to be ostracized. So having value is directly correlated with a sense of security and with a sense of belonging and a sense of survival. And of course, agency weaves through all of that, and the fact that we have to have choice to do it, because if other people take away our choice, then we have a likelihood that we will be ostracized. We will be taken out. At times, politics, right, start to come in, and that's where we start to feel that lack of agency. People are making decisions for me that I don't have the choice for myself. And that gets, it does. It's a survival instinct. And so neurologically, we do have attachment spaces in our brain because implicit memory is an attachment is some of the first things that are developed as we are growing. So we are like born and we are like recognizing sounds and shapes, and then we start to recognize faces. And we do that because attachment is so crucial. We are born through a pretty juvenile state of gestation, right? We are not the deer who are like popping out of mom and being like, okay, I'm running now. We are not. We require a year or two of pretty high maintenance, needy support, codependency on a caregiver. We cannot survive on our own. Another reason for value, belonging, being seen or heard. When we are babies, we cry. It's all we have in our arsenal when we are first born is we have crying to say, I am hungry, I need to be changed, I am thirsty, I am tired, I am sad, I don't feel well. All we have is one face. That's all we've got. So again, if your family is not responding, then quite likely you're having a sense of not feeling seen or heard that has started from early childhood, from infancy. And these attachment needs tell us whether or not we're safe and that we are capable of being secure, and that we're able to get our needs met, and whether or not we have value. It all is connected. And then when those attachment things come up, it's coming up again in our stress because it tells us what our narrative is of whether or not these things are going to be okay. So calm down. Like, you always get your food. You're fine. You are fine. You cry. Mommy comes. She gives you her bottle or her breast, and like, life is okay. Like, chill out. But if that didn't happen, then you're going to be like, no, I can't count on anybody. I sit there and I cry and I cry. I am classically underweight and I'm failing to thrive. No, I cannot count on my caregiver. It's not working. Or my caregiver's giving me drugs in my milk. It's not working out. And so what we want to do is to understand that these are feedback loops for survival. These are ways in which we say, we are okay, so we can keep doing things. We can trust, so we can keep doing things. We've seen that it's worked, so we can continue to assume that it'll work again. Conversely, when we lack or we are triggered in our universal needs, then we say, well, we can't trust, so then we want to avoid. And we can't trust, so we keep avoiding. And that feedback loop of attachment, of avoidance, of trust, all of that comes up and it keeps reinforcing itself on these experiences. And so what we're trying to do is understand that our mind will say, our mind and our behaviors will be connected. So when I don't trust, I avoid. I shy away. And when I shy away, I usually am not trusting something. There's some fear there. When I am depressed, I don't do anything. And when I don't do anything, then I must be depressed. So these connections are happening automatically in our brain. And so what the stress response is doing is it's trying to find immediate response to that, which is usually creating more chaos than it is supporting it. And so instead of getting lost in that dysregulated state, we want to ground, we want to find a growth mindset, radical acceptance, and self-compassion to understand, zoom out, see life for the big picture, and then choose what agency we have and what we can do amongst the big picture. But if we don't zoom out, we are bound to repeat and recapitulate our trauma. And when we look at social psychology and the science behind these experiences, what we find is as we feel like we don't belong, we also feel like we see people-pleasing behaviors. And when we see that people don't feel like they are seen and heard, we see external validators happening. A lot of needing validation. And when we see that people don't feel safe or secure or feel that they have agency, then we see a sense of lack of belonging and a sense of attachment come up. So people are either pushing people away in an effort to find perceived control that they had ownership of the thing, or anxiously kind of coming in and hoarding because scarcity mindset, they feel like they don't have enough. And so as we see these behavioral patterns, we start to connect to these ideas of what is necessary for us to kind of get out of these feedback loops. And so what we want to do is have a grounded, accepted moment to be able to connect to ourselves and our meaning and find a neutral cycle so that we can take one step towards a positive cycle. And some evidence-based interventions for this is in cognitive behavioral therapy and actually dialectical behavior therapy. My workbook's key steps to live a happier and healthier life come from both really leaning on DBT. And so we know that when we can regulate our emotions, we will build leadership functions, have self-awareness, and be able to build meaningful interactions with others. But without that emotional regulation and that grounding to get out of the emotional dysregulation, all of this becomes very, very hard and overwhelming. And so the more that we are in that prefrontal cortex, that executive decisions, the leadership mindset, the easier it is to find and look at things objectively and make an action-oriented step. My favorite thing to do, 1 + 1 is 2. 2 + 2 is 4. 3 + 3 is 6. That will immediately pull you from the emotional mind to the frontal cortex, to the logical, rational mind. My coaching program gives you all of the cognitive reframing, the countering, the challenging, the opposite actions in frameworks that are easy to follow, and why my clients see a 1 to 3 session remission in their symptoms. So there is no clinical significance in their symptoms in 1 to 3 sessions, usually 1 session, because of my proven framework. So if you're interested in changing your life, the way that you think, you feel, you act, and you're ready to make that step forward, please contact me. I offer free 15-minute wellness insights to help you get started on your journey of living a happier, healthier life. I am Jennifer Evans. Please share this with other people who want to know why they do the things they do. Spoiler, it's for survival.